Good day, everyone, especially to our panel and capstone advisor, Mrs. Julie Ann Salido. I am Ciara Parce and we will be presenting the documentation of our system called MangroVision, mobile-based in learning and identifying mangroves, together with Rowella Arguelles, Queenie Amorio, Lorejoy Pintor, and Wendell Parto, who will be presenting the system's feature. MangroVision is a mobile application reinforced machine learning model intended for learning and identifying 10 local mangrove species. It enables the users to learn knowledgeable information about mangroves as well as identify different species by taking a sample photo of a specific mangrove leaf in a plain white background. For the development tools, we used Visual Studio Code using the Dart programming language that uses Flutter framework. Flutter is Google's free and open source UI framework for creating native applications, released in 2017. For the dataset training and creation of machine learning model, we use Teachable Machine. Teachable Machine is a web-based interface that allows us to train our own ML classification models using images. It uses transfer learning, an ML technique to find patterns and trends within images and create a simple and easy classification model. With transfer learning, we're able to add our own data and retrain a model on top of a previously trained base model that has learned a specific domain from a large dataset. For example, the base model, MobileNet, for the images portion of Teachable Machine was originally trained to recognize 1,000 classes like dogs, phones, beds, and etc. The underlying traits that MobileNet used to recognize those classes can be used to identify new classes that we define. In this project, we defined 10 classes of mangrove species. This complexity is hidden from users who simply benefit by needing less data and training time to create useful, accurate models. After training, we evaluated the quality of our model in the rightmost evaluation panel. We test the model with our recorded data, which is still images of mangrove leaves. The testing images are separated from the ones that we used during training. All in all, we used more than 15,000 training images, 1,500 for each species and an additional 1,000 images for testing. Our image dataset was checked and verified by Ma'am Georgine Primavera and Sir John Altamirano, two of the most respected mangrove experts here in the Philippines. We also used Google Maps to project the location of each dataset that were taken, and for its database, we used MS Excel to store the data for each mangrove leaf, including its images, names, and coordinates. Now, my groupmates will discuss the features of MangroVision app.
Home screen. Located in the home screen are the list of local species that the mobile app can identify, and on the bottom navigation bar, there are buttons for Home, Camera, and MangroVision. From the home screen, users can click each button from the list and will be able to view the necessary and detailed description about the specific mangrove species. Upon clicking the button, it will display the species, scientific name, family name, common name, local name, general information about where and how it will likely to grow, flowering month, fruiting month, title range, and description of its leaf, flower, and fruits. With this description, the users would be able to learn basic and in-depth knowledge about the different local species of mangroves.
The next feature is the camera screen, where users can identify the different mangrove species by taking a sample photo of a specific mangrove leaf that will be taken on a plain white background. There's a button that the user can click in order to identify a leaf, and under that button is a note for the users to have a better and accurate results. Aside from that, there's also a tip screen in the MangroVision corner that contains helpful instructions that will serve as a guide for users in using the mobile app and how to properly take an image of the desired mangrove leaf to be identified. Now, Upon clicking the camera button, the system will direct the user to the camera feature of their phones. The user will then capture a desired mangrove leaf to be identified. After the desired photo has been captured, the system will display the scientific name and the level of confidence or accuracy of the identified mangrove leaf. The user can identify leaf images multiple times. We use the scientific names as the class names because there are species that have the same local names depending on the place where it was located. Moreover, it is more ethical to use the scientific names because these are the unique names used by the scientific community to accurately and universally identify species.
The next feature of the mobile app is the MangroVision screen that contains four buttons called Tips, Mangrove Info, Map, and MangroVision. As what Queenie said before, the tip screen contains helpful instructions that will serve as a guide for users in using the mobile app and how to properly take an image of the desired mangrove leaf to be identified. On the other hand, the map screen will display a map containing the location of each mangrove leaf dataset that were taken. By clicking each of the marker from the map, some data will be displayed including the species name, coordinates for the location, latitude and longitude, and the image acquired in the specific location. The data from this screen will be useful to know where each of the mangrove leaf was acquired.
The third button, called the Mangrove Info Screen, is an informative screen that contains comprehensive and interesting information about mangroves and its ecosystem. It contains two sections called Description of the Species and Must Know Information. Description of the species were discussed in detail in the home screen section of this mobile app, while the Must Know contains interesting information about mangroves that includes importance of mangroves, cities, towns, villages, and other places in the Philippines, named after mangrove species and their associated medicinal uses of Philippine mangroves, and etc. Lastly is the MangroVision screen that displays a short description about the app and what it is intended for. In this section, the specification of the app, as well as the contact information for the MangroVision and the developers can be viewed. To exit the app, there is a button to close the app at the bottom corner of the MangroVision screen.
This is the MangroVision team, and thank you for listening.